Hello and welcome back to another episode of Funny Shapes. If you don't know me, I'm your host Lottie, and on today's episode, we're going to talk about the Hungarian Grand Prix. So, I know that I didn't post an episode for the triple header, but I was working, and every time I tried to film it, I didn't like it. I filmed it, I started to edit it, and I was like, I'm not liking this, so I didn't post it. Um, so yeah, I'm sorry for that. But we can do just a little quick rundown of the triple header. So we had Spain, Austria, and Silverstone. In Spain, we had drama with Carlos and Charles, which pissed me off because I don't want them to ruin their relationship like 6 months before their teammate relationship ends. So it pissed me off, not gonna lie. Then in Austria, we had more drama, this time with Max and Lando. They were fighting for P1 to see who was going to win the race. They started to drive a bit too dangerously and they made contact. Lando had to DNF the car while Max still got some points, which, seems like a bit unfair, especially for the way that Max was acting, like it wasn't his fault. In my opinion, in that situation, it was Max's fault. Even though they were both driving very dangerous, and if in that moment it was Max's fault, in like a lap or two, it could have been Lando. You know, they were both driving very, very like, I need to get the win, and in the end they both didn't get the win, and we got a George win, which is so weird. But he was in third and he was just like, I'll take it, you know what, I'll just take it, and he did. And with that, we added another winner to the list of winners of the 2024 season. And then we get to Silverstone. We're all very excited because, well, it's Silverstone. And qualifying, we get a British lockout. The three British drivers that we have on the grid for now lock up the top three in qualifying, which was so fun to watch. And then the race was incredible, and we got a Sir Lewis Hamilton win at his home race for the 9th time. It was amazing. I've been watching F1 since 2022, the beginning of the season. So that means that I never saw Lewis win. And he's one of my favorite drivers. So I'm not going to lie. It was one of the best feelings ever. I felt like I was on top of the moon. I was so happy. And then we had a little week break. And now we had the Hungarian Grand Prix. Well, again, lots of drama, which I love. This season, like, if you looked at me and you said in like February, after Red Bull revealed their car and they showed the car and they were going around and the sound of it looked like a rocket ship. If you told me in that day that before the summer break, a race before the summer break, we would have 7 different race winners, I would have laughed in your face because I was like, that's impossible. The RB20 cannot be beaten. And it pissed me off because I'm not a Red Bull fan. So it wasn't a fun thing to admit. But, well, last year he won 19 races. So I was like, well, he will win the 24 races. But then, if you told me 7 drivers would have won a race by the summer break, even before summer break, I would have genuinely laughed. And if you told me, oh, and of those 7 drivers, Checo isn't in one of them, and he's in a Red Bull, that's what shocks me the most. We've had 7 different drivers winning a race. Checo is not one of them. He's an RB20. He is driving an RB20. That's what shocks me the most. Like, the difference between him and Max doesn't make sense in my head because they have the same car, at least on paper they do, and Max is like so far ahead of Checo that it's insane. And they did such a big drama about like big announcement to announce that they were renewing his contract. Because I think they were like, okay, so we're gonna renew his contract, so maybe, just maybe, he will, I don't know, show something, like prove that he can actually be in the Red Bull. It was worse. After he signed the new contract, he's been getting out in Q1, Q2, finishing P14, just finishing out of the points. And that shocks me, to be honest. And in my opinion, I don't think he'll have a seat for next year. I think they're gonna grab his contract and rip it in front of his face. Helmut Marko has said that after Spa, they will make a decision for him, because now at the Hungarian Grand Prix, he crashed the car once again in Q1, destroyed the car once again, more money that they will have to spend. So yeah, in my opinion, I don't think we're gonna see Checo in the Red Bull next year. And if he stays, it will be just like, I don't know if it's gonna be good for them, because they have Max, which is like the dominant driver. Maybe not so much in these last few races, but he's still in his dominant era. And then we have Checo, who's either crashing or just not performing in the same car. That doesn't make much sense to me. Much actually doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, let's get into the Hungarian Grand Prix. Actually, before the Hungarian Grand Prix, at Silverstone, we had a big announcement. And that announcement is that Ollie Behrman will be joining F1 in 2025 with Haas. I am so happy for him. I was over the moon about the news. I was like, yes, I'm so happy. Now we need to know who's going to be teammates with him. I think probably Essi Bessi, because they also announced before the Hungarian Grand Prix that Kevin would not be driving for Haas next year. So I think, I think maybe Essi Bessi will be in the Haas next year. And I don't think Magnussen will have a seat for next season. I think this might be the end of Kevin Magnussen's career, but we'll see. Anything can happen in this sport. But yeah, let's get into the Hungarian Grand Prix, because we had lots of drama. And I am pissed. And it's been 24 hours at the moment that I'm filming this. Maybe not that much. It's like 4 p.m. on a Monday. But yeah, let's get into it. A little disclaimer. If you can hear my fan in the back, I am sorry, but I am sweating from every single pore in my body. So I need to have that on. But I don't think you can hear it much, because I have the microphone right here. But I don't know. If you can, I'm sorry. If you can't, good. But yeah, let's get into the Hungarian Grand Prix. We first got probably one of the funniest moments in F1, which was on Wednesday, I believe. Wednesday or Thursday. Wednesday, actually. There was a storm in Hungary, and the pit lane flooded. The paddock was completely flooded. There was like a hailstorm, lots and lots of rain. Everything that you could have think they had. And there was like probably like 20 centimeters of rain on the floor. And we had the F1 engineers swimming. They were just having the time of their lives swimming in the rain. I never laughed so much in my life. That was like one of the funniest moments ever. They were just having the time of their lives. Swimming, like that was normal. It was very fun to watch. But yeah. Then we get to Friday, which was just practice day. And FP1 Ferrari was doing pretty okay. Like for the delusional girlies that are like, oh, they're doing great in practice. Yep, we're winning this. I was wishing, at least. Well, that didn't happen. And then in FP2, Charles crashed. Not crashed. He had a little contact with the wall, a little kiss to the wall, spinning out like a ballerina type of vibe. But he was fine. The car was fine-ish. They had to fix a few things, but it was fine. Then we move to Saturday, quali day, and in qualifying, in Q1 we get Paris out, crashing and causing a red flag. I've talked about it. It's not normal for a guy that's in a Red Bull to crash as much as he does, or to perform as bad as he does, at least in my opinion. But quali in general, oh no, we had George getting knocked out in Q1 as well, which was a surprise, since he won 2 races ago. And then Q2 was like pretty normal, just the normal drivers getting knocked out. And then Q3, we were like, okay, who's gonna get pole? Lando, Max, Oscar? Who's gonna get it? Actually, wait a damn second. In Q1, after Sergio crashed, Denny went P1 and ended up Q1 in P1. So that was fun. That was really fun. And I can like see the thoughts turning in Christian Horner's head and be like, should I just bring Denny Rick back? I wouldn't be mad about that, to be honest. But yeah, Q1 was just that, I think. Yeah. And then Q3, we're like, okay, who's gonna get the pole position? I was like, please, Lando, please. And he did get the pole position in his first lap of Q3, because Max was trying, but when he tried, there was like 2 minutes left, and Yuki crashed. It was a big crash. His car was very, very, very destroyed. I'm glad he's okay. But yeah, that pretty much just ended Q3. Max didn't go out again. The McLaren still did, just in case Max was going out, just to kind of protect it, but he didn't. And we got a McLaren 1-2, which is very good. Front row lockout for the race is very, very good, because we had Max in P3. So if they could like stop Max, that would be very, very fun. And on Saturday, after quali, I left the house and I was with my mom, and we ran into my Dutch friend that's a Max fan, and I was like, P3, right? P3. I was so happy that he didn't get pole position. And he was like, oh, he can't always get pole position. He has to give it a little chance so he can fight on Sunday. Well. Let me tell you, I was stoked yesterday when I could text him and be like, it's a great day to be a Max fan, right? And he's like, sure is, and sent me the driver's standing and saying that Max was still in P1 in the standings. And I was like, okay, but Lando will get to him. And he sent me a gif of Max shaking his head. And then I sent him a TikTok of Max's incident during the race, saying Red Bull gives you wings. It was very fun, not gonna lie. But yeah, we get to Sunday. It's race day. It's boiling hot. Track temperature was like 43 degrees or something like that. It was boiling hot in Hungary. And I was excited. I was like, okay, Lando, Oscar, who's gonna get the win? I was happy for either of them to get the win. Until shit started going down the drain, because Oscar did such an amazing start. And we've seen Lando do this before, get pole and miss the pole and kind of fuck up when he starts in P1. Oscar overtook him. Great. He stayed in P1 for a long, long time. He was He had the pace. He was driving extremely, extremely well. Okay? That's not a thing that's discussable. It's like he was driving amazing yesterday. Okay? They changed tires for the first time. Everything stays the same. Max is trying to get to P3, but he's kind of down. He was in P5 for a while, then he overtook Charles, and then he was trying to overtake Lewis. That didn't go well, and he didn't crash. God knows how, because he literally flied. The back of his car fully was off the ground, and I was like, well, that's not that good. But yeah, in that situation, I don't think it was Lewis's fault. Max was just trying to get to P3 so hard that he started to just do shit after shit. And let me tell you this, since Saturday, he had been so annoying on the radio with GP. On Saturday, he was like, the rain. And GP was like, okay, Max, calm down. Acting like they're an old married couple. But then, yesterday, it was horrible. He spent the whole race complaining. And, oh, they fucked up the strategy. They fucked up this and that. And let me tell you this. If I was GP, I'm sorry, but I don't have the patience that GP has. Because if, like, someone said, like, half of the things that he said yesterday during the team radio, I would have taken the headphones, thrown the headphones at the pit wall, and then gone on the radio and be like, fuck yourself, do your race on your own. Because I'm sorry, no, I just don't have that much patience. Like, I don't have any patience at all, to be honest. But yeah, it wasn't like, oh, he's trying to get a win. No, he was trying to get a podium. And he was so mad. He was acting like a child the whole race. He was like a kid when you tell them no, and they're like, oh no, I am definitely not accepting a no as an answer. Like, bitch, yes you are. Like, just shut up. But then, let's get to what actually made me mad about yesterday's race. So, as I said before, Oscar was driving amazing, incredible, love him, and I wanted him to get his first win. Not like this though, not like this. Because when it was time for the second and last pit stop of the race, instead of McLaren sending Oscar first since he was P1, no. What did they do? They sent Lando first, waited 2 more laps to send Oscar into the pits. That caused Lando to come out in front of Oscar when he did go into the pits. Okay, at this point, they were P2 and P3. Max was in P1 because he hadn't pitted yet. Okay? And that's when the shit started. They basically said to Lando that they were going to switch positions. And he was like, but why? Why didn't you pit him first? And McLaren fucked up the strategy. And instead of just being like, okay, that's fine, Lando will get this one. He's P2 in the championship. He probably will need these points since Max is not doing great today. Let's just let Lando win. We get a 1-2 and we're good. No. They manipulated Lando. They made Lando look like the villain. And they ruined Oscar's first win. Okay? So let's go through the radio messages with Lando. So, when they told him that they needed to switch positions, Lando started to drive really well. He had the pace. And his engineer was like, We need to save more tires, please, and we do want to let Oscar through. Okay? And Lando was like, we should have boxed him first, then. Surely no. Because that's what makes sense, even for me, that I'm not a strategist, I'm just a fan. But I can understand that they should have boxed Oscar first if they wanted him to stay in front of Lando. Okay? His engineer goes, doesn't matter. I'm sorry, what? Doesn't matter. You fucked up and it doesn't matter. That makes zero fucking sense. And Lando was like, I mean, it does. To me, maybe. Like, you were the one who boxed him first. And now you're like, doesn't matter. Sorry, what? Like, makes zero sense. Then, his engineer kept going. Like, every time I saw the little box showing up in the side with Norris radio, I was ready to punch the fucking screen and just punch Lando's engineer. Because, like, what the hell? He didn't stop. Like, he was just on and on and on and on Lando. Like, let him drive, okay? He kept going. He was like, we think both cars are using their tires too much. Just remember, every single Sunday morning meeting we have. Sorry, what? Like, okay. And then Lando was like, yeah, tell him to catch up then. Please. Like, if he could catch up. Because Oscar, for the first stint of the race, he had the pace and he was doing amazing. But then, when they tell him to catch up to Lando, he couldn't. He just didn't have the pace, which is normal. It happens. Like Silverstone, Max at the beginning had zero pace. And then at the end, like, his pace just showed up out of nowhere. It happens. And since Oscar had lost the pace, they could have just let Lando be, but no, they kept going. Okay? They kept going. His engineer was like, Lando, you can catch up. You've proved your point, and it really doesn't matter. You proved your point. Like, what the fuck? He started to drive. He was driving amazing. He got 6 seconds ahead of Oscar. 6 seconds. And even with that much of a gap, they kept annoying him and being like, oh, let him through. Okay? And Lando says, I mean, I would have tried to undercut anyway. Okay? And his engineer goes, mate, we did the stop sequence in this order for the good of the team. I'm sorry, what? You boxed Lando first since he was in P2 and let Oscar out. For the good of the team? 0 cents. Makes 0 fucking sense. Okay? And then Lando was like, yeah, and I'm fighting for a championship. And it's not even like, oh, Lando is driver number 1, Oscar is driver number 2, which they are. And Lando has been with McLaren since 2018. Before he even drove for F1, he was with McLaren, okay? Even in F2, he declined Red Bull. He has declined Red Bull multiple times because he believes in McLaren and he believes in their project, and it paid off because he stayed like 5 years without winning his first race, never left the team, and it paid off. He got his first win in Miami. It was absolutely amazing. Okay? He believes that team and he stuck with that team through them being complete tractors. Like beginning of the 2022 season when they finished the first race in like P18 and I think one of them DNF'd. I don't even remember who. Like, he stayed with them and they still treat him like this. Which doesn't make sense in my head. And right now, he's in P2 in the championship for the first time in his career. But they were like, no, no, you're not winning in a day that Max is not having a good race. Which, again, doesn't make sense. Okay? Okay. And then, the final one that Lando just... I think Lando was just, okay, fuck it, very much. They were like, Lando, there is no threat behind. If there's a safety car now, it's going to make this very awkward. Please do it now. He does. He slowed down, let Oscar through, and he said, yeah, you don't need to say anything. Like, the manipulation that they did with Lando for him to let Oscar through, it just doesn't make sense to me. Because I don't think it's like, I want Oscar to win a race. And I wanted it. I really, really, really think that he deserved his first win. He has been driving amazing since his rookie year, which was last year. But he has been driving amazing. Last year, he got a race win. It was a sprint. But still a race win. And then they ruin his first race. Because the first thing that he says on the team radio after he crosses the finish line is, I'm sorry. He apologized for winning his first F1 race. After going through so many things since he was a kid, having to move to the UK because, well, there's not much opportunities for like young drivers in Australia. He moved to a whole other continent to follow his dreams, to get into F1, to win his first race, to then winning his first race and apologizing. Like, I don't understand why they couldn't have just waited maybe 1-2 races. Because the pace that they have right now, they are fighting for race wins every single weekend. Why they couldn't just waited 1-2 races, maybe even more, you know? But like, just give it a little more time, and eventually Oscar would get his first win. I have no doubt. But making this big of a deal, manipulating your driver into letting his teammate through, and then him apologizing after getting his first win, makes zero sense to me. Okay? Then they get out of the car. Lando goes, gives him the little handshake. I mean, like, congratulations, but kind of, kind of a awkward type of moment between them. Interviews, they were like, yeah, it happens, like, kind of trying to play it off. They get in the podium, and like, if you couldn't see them up in the podium, by their faces, you would be like, so are they happy? They had both just like the face of someone that was like, yeah, I won, yay, I guess. He wasn't like beaming after winning his first race, which is so sad. And okay, I know that Oscar doesn't show much emotion, but I'm pretty sure he would have showed just a little bit more if he had won the race, like, without the drama, And then we get the national anthems, we get the trophy, and he lifts the trophy just like without energy. It was so sad to see. He grabbed the trophy and he was like, gave like the team like a little smile, be like, yeah, we got this. But not with energy of someone that just won his first Grand Prix. Then we get to the champagne. And Lando does his typical knocking the bottle on the floor. And Oscar goes, like, bends down so it wouldn't hit him. and Lando doesn't even go for him, goes straight for Lewis. That video actually broke my heart in a million little pieces. Like, why would you do that? And then, in the post-race show, we have probably the best moment of the race. Not the race, like the race day, okay? Which is Nico Rosberg talking with Andrea Stella and being like, he was like, you need to establish what's going on with your drivers. And he was like, I'm talking from experience. And we've seen this before with Nico and Lewis. And it's insane that we could have the same situation because of the team. And in this situation is neither Oscar or Lando's fault. It's the team's fault. You know? And I really, really hope that their relationship stays the same. But I don't know. I actually don't know. I really hope it does. But we've seen this before with Nico and Lewis. They were friends, and then they just weren't. They became enemies, and we all know what came out of there. And Nico looking at Andrea Stella like he was a kid that just did something wrong, and he was giving him, you know, like when you do something wrong and your parents are like, so you can't do that, you know? It was so funny to me. So funny. I laughed. I actually laughed so hard because I was like, okay, so that's interesting. Okay? And then, not only that, but this isn't the first time this has happened with McLaren. And it's like, oh, it happened what? 4 or 5 years ago or something like that? No. It happened in 1997 with David Coulthard and Mika Räikkönen. Okay? And as you probably know, if you watch it in F1 TV, David Coulthard is one of the commentators for F1 TV right now. And when the whole situation started, Alex Jakes was like, so, David, how are you feeling? Are you having flashbacks? Because this has happened before. In 1987, the team told David to let Mika through so he could get his first F1 win. David, yesterday, he said that if it was today, he wouldn't have done it. And I think that tells you everything that you need to know about, like, what's going on. You know, if they have done, it's like they have done this for so many years. Why do they keep doing it? They ruined Oscar's first race for no reason when they could have just waited. It's like Oscar's first Grand Prix win was ruined by his team, and his first sprint win, his first win in general, was ruined by the FIA because, I don't know if you remember, but his first win was Qatar 2023. That day, on that Saturday, when he finished his sprint race, with Max finishing P2, I believe, P2 or P3, I don't remember exactly, Max won the championship. What did they do? They gave all the attention to Max and basically ignored a rookie winning a race. Like, what's up with that? Why are people ruining Oscar's first wins? It breaks my heart. It actually does break my heart. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. My blood was boiling after it. I was so mad at McLaren. But I am happy that Oscar has his first race win. And now we just need to see what this season will bring to us. Are we going to have an 8th race winner? That would be fun. I guess we need to wait and see. But yeah, let me see if I have something more to talk about. Oh, let's talk about Charles and how being a Charles fan is not for the weak. because let's go through Charles' last few races. Monaco, best day of his life. He finally won his home Grand Prix, broke the Monaco curse. After that, it was downhill. Canada, DNF. Spain, drama with Carlos. Austria, contact in the first lap. Silverstone, strategy. And now, Hungary, he did finish before. But yeah, it hasn't been that fun to be a Charles fan. So I'm focusing on Lando and on Oscar and on Lewis. Because if I don't, I will actually cry. Because again, being a Charles fan is not for the weak, and you have to be very, very strong. Because we had the best day of our lives, and then it was just downhill from them. But yeah, I think that's everything I had to talk about. I am pretty sure. If I forgot something, I'm very sorry. But yeah, I think that's it. I really hope that this season keeps being this fun and this entertaining, because I don't want to get back to Max winning every single race. And if that happens, I will actually bawl my eyes out. But yeah, we now have Spa, which is a very fun race. I love Spa. And then we have summer break, which is like sad. It's a month without F1. But yeah, I'll see you for the next episode. Bye.